I have something. There's a lot of misunderstanding as to actually what's happening with the overlay district. And Daniel, if you wouldn't mind, would you tell the people here, obviously people have their own businesses, about the grandfather clause, and also you just touched on being able to change whatever can come about. The city council has all kinds of authority to do whatever.
Yes.
I mean, we could adopt the plan just like it is, and you come in with something totally different, and it could be accepted.
Yes.
And so if you wouldn't mind, just touch on that, please.
If you had an existing business, that existing business would be allowed to continue indefinitely. You don't have to do anything to your building. It stays as it is. It's what's classified in the zoning ordinance as a legal non-conforming. That just means it doesn't conform to the standards as they are right now, but was conforming when it was built. It's a legal non-conforming use if it's a business, or a structure if it's a building. And those are allowed to continue forever. You can maintain them. You can do all the regular maintenance that you need. It's just when it comes to an expansion of a non-conforming structure, which would be an issue. Also, you have the uses. They can't exist, and like I said, they exist indefinitely. And so what we're going to have is, as far as if you're existing, if just use a building next to us. You know, for instance, that building would always be allowed to be here. Let's say it was non-conforming, or some use that wasn't, or you know, some type of structure that wasn't conforming. It would be allowed to stay just as it always is. It's only when it expands, or when a new building is constructed, that it would have to conform to the.
So if you wanted to expand, it had to come to these specs. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the option is you could come with an alternative standards permit. That's when you go to the P&Z and show them on your site plan. Well, this is my expansion. This is why I want to do this, because I have this unique design that I want to continue. And it is subject to the P&Z and the council's approval, so it's not guaranteed. But it is subject to the P&Z and the council, who you know, they would look at all the factors. They probably look at, is it conforming to sort of what's on the ground right now? Is it negatively impacting surrounding properties? You know, of course all the economics is always considered. So so they would consider these different factors about the expansion in that case, and it could be approved, and then could be approved by the council. So that would allow an exception for that, because once again, that was one of the things that we ran into. Of course, we'll have some non-conforming businesses that we want to allow them to stay and continue. And if there isn't a place when you can, or a situation where you want to expand, well, you can come before the P&Z and your elected officials to try to get that.
Well, you know, some of us are small businesses and we want to grow. We can't afford to grow but a piece at a time. So would we be allowed to do that? You know,
You have to go through the alternative standards route. And that's one of the main reasons we put them in there. So, yes?
What if you had a building that's not conforming and you sold it to someone else?
What that does, that fall under the non-conforming section. And if you don't know, Peggy's the city secretary. We've looked at your non-conforming use and standards section, and it's a little vague, to be honest with you. We sent Peggy a draft and said, hey, this is how you may want to reword your non-conforming use section. But as far as it could be interpreted, is that someone could come back in and reuse that non-conforming building. But once again, I caution when we read through it, and it really wasn't, you know, part of this as, you know, rewriting the non-conforming use section. But as you could interpret it, it could allow for that. But what our recommendation was is they need to take a greater look at their non-conforming use section. But as it is right now, it may be allowed. I can't give you a clear answer.
Well, he said forever and ever.
Well, if it stays not okay, was the business in operation?
It's non-conforming right now.
Is it being used?
Yes.
And then someone was just going to purchase it and use it for the same thing,
Or something else, or
Well-
commercial business.
Okay, and let's take this case and do a couple scenarios. If someone wants to use it for same thing and it doesn't sit abandoned, then they can use it for the same thing. You can sell the property to them, they can use it for the same thing. They couldn't use it for something that wasn't allowed in the zoning ordinance, so they'd have to go by the zoning ordinance. But the building still could be used. So
Without improvement.
without, as far as I read your non-conforming use section, I think your answer would be yes, because what you have is you don't have an abandonment issue because it's being continually used. And then as far as you're allowed, the use is allowed in the zoning district, you should be okay. Because like I said, the use can continue indefinitely if you're a non-conforming use. And the building, as long as it's continually used and it doesn't sit vacant, can be used indefinitely also.
What would you consider abandoned? How long will that period of time will be?
According to the existing non-conforming use section, it says 60 days. And then there's an exception for a hardship for 6 months. That's how it's currently worded in your zoning